Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Today is July 27th, 2022. It's 6:34 p.m. and I call the meeting to order. The meeting's being called to order, conducted virtually via the Zoom application. Every member of the public who wishes to be heard will be heard. Could I have the statement of compliance read, Ms. Borchers, please?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, PL 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the date, time, place, and purpose of this public meeting through a legal notice published in the record, posted on the borough website, and posted on the bulletin board.
Thank you. Can the members of the governing body please turn their cameras on so that the public can see their elected and appointed representatives? Madam Clerk, would you please do the roll call?
Mayor Kranjak.
Here.
Member Di Gregorio.
Present.
Member Luciano.
I'm here.
Member Park.
Yes.
Member Begats.
Yes.
Member Kapsakis.
Here.
Council President Katrubis.
Present.
Attorney Mensch.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Please all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for.
Okay. Next up is a closed session. Can I have a motion to go into closed session?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. Ms. Borchers, would you please read into the record?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so just read the language that we need to go into
Sure.
closed session, please. Thank you.
Resolution 22-170. Whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Englewood Cliffs has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain confidential matters. And whereas the minutes of this closed session will remain confidential as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act, or shall be released when there is no further need for confidentiality as authorized by the borough attorney. Now therefore be it resolved, the mayor and council of the borough of Englewood Cliffs will go into closed session for the following matters as permitted under Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12 for litigation and contract negotiations.
Okay, thank you. Members of the public, we will put you into the waiting room now. And when we are done with the closed session, we will bring you back into the meeting. Ms. Borchers, can you just take care of that for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, good. The motion to come out of closed session, please.
I'll make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. So we closed session, and just for the record, Mr. Di Gregorio was in a location where other people could hear us in the background, and I asked him to preserve the sanctity of closed session. Initially, he resisted. Eventually, he may have. We're not sure. That's for the record.
Thank you, Mayor.
The next item is the resolution 22-171, authorizing payment to CSG in the sum of $113,264.50. Motion. No motion, then I'll just move on.
Just as a quick word for everybody as a
One
reminder.
moment. I made the motion. I was muted. I'm sorry.
All right, okay. Anybody seconding?
Second.
Okay, give a roll call.
Can we have a
Well,
discussion,
can we-
please?
Yeah, I'd like to have a discussion on this. I
I
need
wish
some
we'd get into a
clarification. from
routine of that. It would be very helpful.
That's fine. You know what? If I don't see you, I don't hear you sometimes either. So
That's why I'll
your
speak
camera
up.
on.
Thank you, sir. I just had a question. These authorizing payments, and I don't know if this litigation, that's from closed session. Is this authorizing payment, or am I off here on this one?
No, this is authorizing payment. We are court ordered to do this. This was part of the malpractice. We're appealing it, but the appellate division did not stay the payment pending appeal. So we have a
Oh.
couple of these payments which the borough may get back if it's successful in its appeal. Unfortunately, the courts have ordered us to pay it in the interim.
Mr.
Okay, so I
Luciano,
guess my
wait,
question is
Luciano, hold on.
what I asked,
Luciano,
even
hold on a
last
second.
week during the budget
Mr.
was, I guess my
Luciano, hold on.
question is, thank you for the clarification, is
My
that
question is
we
what
have money,
line,
hold on, David, is, that do we have?
Guys, the way this
My
works,
question, well, no, this is discussion, so I'm discussing, and I'd like to know
question you just
from
asked.
anybody in that voted, oh my God, Mayor, if you just let someone
talk
speak
over it.
besides yourself, we'd greatly
Let me just
appreciate it.
finish, let me just finish, because I am the chair, and you have to actually do it at my way, okay? We have an agenda. There's a line item here. It's very
We're in
self-explanatory.
discussion,
And if it wasn't self-explanatory
discussion.
enough for you,
we're in
a
discussion,
resolution that you could read, okay?
we're in discussion, Mayor.
Don't waste everyone's time.
But we're
with-
in discussion. Okay, so then answer this simple question. What line is it in the budget to pay for this?
Well, that's an unfair question. We don't.
Why is it unfair? You're ready to push it forward.
We-
What
we
line
will-
is it?
We will
Thank
take,
you. That's what I thought.
we will take that question.
That's what I
Or
thought.
we'll get an answer for you.
I'll ask any of my fellow council members, what line is it? This is the question I asked during the budget hearing last
Pull up the
meeting.
budget. We can
What-
recess and pull up the
Mayor,
budget.
Mayor, whenever you're done speaking, I'd like to be able to speak.
You said enough. We're done.
See, no, then I'm gonna speak because we're
We know
not
what
done.
your question
Can
is.
anybody answer the question?
We're gonna get.
Matt,
to you, sir.
Tim, Councilwoman,
line is it?
David, Mayor, anybody, can they tell us what line item we're paying this at?
You asked that question and I just explained to you that we don't walk around with the budget lines in our head and neither do you, okay?
Then how can anybody vote on it?
And so,
You don't know what's in the budget.
hold on. Let
You
me
don't even
finish.
know if it's in the
Let me
budget.
finish. And I said this before, you want to make problems and I understand that.
I know, I'm fiscally responsible. That's the problem I have.
We are going to get you an answer, okay? It's not gonna
Then
happen.
can I make a motion to table it? I make a motion to table it.
Table, okay, is there a second?
Second,
Do we
Let's
have,
a
hold
vote
on,
the table. Let's have a
hold
vote
on,
on the table.
hold on. Do we have a
There's
deadline?
no
that we
discussion
have
with a
to
motion
pay?
to table.
Do we have a deadline?
There's
that
no
we have to
discussion
pay
with a
that?
motion to table, Matt.
Mayor, may I answer the question?
Yes.
No, if I can't get an answer, how can anybody
Mr.
else answer a
Luciano,
question?
Mr. Luciano, I think we might have an answer for you.
There's no discussion on the motion to table.
Wait, go ahead. Joe.
taxpayers,
There's no
because
discussion on the
Mute
motion
them.
to table.
You could speak.
Okay, I did mention this to the finance department, and Mr. Triplett mentioned that I asked him about the amount, and he said that this would be coming from the legal. because
Yes,
there's
makes
money
sense.
in legal for that.
Okay, good. So let's have the motion to table voted on. We'll have a roll call on that, and then we'll go back in a proper vote, okay? Please go ahead. This is the motion to table. I don't want to.
Okay. Ms. Councilmember Di Gregorio? Councilmember Di Gregorio?
you froze.
It's the vote, David, to the table.
Yes,
Member Luciano?
Yes.
Member Park?
No,
Member Begats?
I want to know if there is a deadline, then we have, by what
Yes.
deadline we have to pay that. This
April
will
20
tell us.
July 20, July 29th.
So we don't have time. We have to pay.
Okay, so you're a no.
Correct, people?
Correct.
The vote
Yes.
is to table, just vote the table and then we can talk about
No,
this
no,
discussion.
I'm not tabling it. No, we have to pay.
That's a no vote. Go, keep going.
Member Kapsakis?
No.
Member Councilmember President Katrubis?
No to table.
Do we have the roll call now on the initial motion to approve the payment?
you know,
Can we finish discussion on that?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's allowed now.
Well, Rivka brought up an interesting point. Matt, can you bring clarification? What happens if you do not pay today? What happens if this
You
resolution
mean,
does not pay?
with all due respect, with councilman,
Glenn, you
council
don't have the
president, you mean,
floor.
so
Glenn,
you
you
mean
don't have the
not
floor.
knowing if it's in the budget or not is a
Glenn,
good question?
Glenn,
No, that
You don't have the
question
floor,
was
Glenn.
answered.
Glenn, you don't.
I
have
know,
the floor.
Mario, but I
Mr.
know you never
Katrubis
give me
has
the floor, so that's why I'm
This
gonna
is
ask
an
the question.
adult forum.
That's why
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
ask the
where you
question.
play in your sandbox, but this is an adult forum. Mr.
You
Katrubis
should
had a
act like an
question for
adult
Matt.
then.
You
You
need
act
to
like
stop
an adult and
speaking.
we'll act like adults.
You need to stop speaking, okay? You're not in charge, sir. No matter what you think, you are not in charge. Mr. Mensch, answer Mr. Katrubis's question.
simply ask what line it is coming out of, and if the mayor does not,
Mr. Di Gregorio, you're interrupting. You're not recognized. We follow Robert's Rules of Order. Mr. Mensch, answer the question, please.
out of and inform us, or at least you need to
Mr.
act
Di Gregorio, you do not shout out. You do not shout out, not in my forum. Stop that. Stop
question.
that. Stop that. And put your
Why-
camera on so we can see where you are.
But
Mr.
when
Mensch, go ahead.
it's so upset, why? Why are you getting
Could
so?
you
You
keep
David, stop
interrupting?
it.
I'm trying to run a meeting, Mr. Di Gregorio.
know what? You need to,
Laura, please mute him so Mr. Mensch could answer the question.
So there's no need to mute. So the issue that we have is there is a court order that indicates that we have to pay the various attorneys from the Troutner malpractice action that Farrington ruled against us on by, it's actually, I think by about 2 weeks ago. 2 of those attorneys have come forward demanding payment. These are the ones most pressing. We need to get the other ones done within the next, certainly by the next couple meetings. We're already running the risk that somebody goes to court and files a motion to compel, which could then raise more sanctions or more attorney's fees if we are not paying. So CSG was the first firm that came forward and said, hey, pay us. We got an email late in the day today. I forwarded on to everybody with Mr. Dassey's recommendation to also pay BD Padavano, which was the add-on resolution. It's the same thing, which is we're ordered to do this. If we delay doing it, we risk sanctions by the court and additional attorney's fees. These items were known when the budget was put together. I cannot identify specifically what line item. It wasn't a legal budget. I know that Chris Rath was aware of it, but I will tell you that regardless of that issue, Judge Farrington or the appellate division are not going to, if they don't get paid, we will be subject to additional attorney fees and fines. And they're not going to say that because the borough had a budget discussion over which line item it should come from, they
Correct.
should, we're excused.
Okay.
I said I agree.
Does that answer your question?
Thank I
Okay.
think they should be paid.
Can we continue with the vote, please?
Sure. Member Di Gregorio,
Yes,
There's a lot of noise coming from wherever you're located, Mr. Di Gregorio.
Member Luciano? Member Luciano,
I abstain.
Member Park,
Yes.
Member Begats,
Yes,
Member Kapsakis,
Yes.
Council President Katurbis.
Yes.
Mayor passes.
Next item, the consent agenda.
you did interject.
I'm sorry, Mr. Di Gregorio, I'm speaking, please.
Oh, I just want to say that the
Mr. Di
payment,
Gregorio, I am speaking. You're not recognized. Stop it. Next items are consent agenda 22-172, 173, 174, 175, and I think 176 was added. The only question I have on 172 is, and this is more of a legal issue, Mr. Mensch, is because there's issues of advertising. We have an anti-nepotism policy in the personnel policy, and we just need to make sure the funds are certified.
Yes, the funds will need to be certified. That's, the CFO will have to certify the availability of the funds. And I don't believe there's any, in this instance, just because there's 2 people working that may be from the same family. They're not, Ms. Borchers is not in charge of the hiring here. So there's not, it shouldn't be
You
an
read
issue.
the anti-nepotism policy?
Excuse me, Mayor?
Mr. Mensch, you read our anti-nepotism policy. The reason I asked was because this is a very sensitive issue when I first became mayor. I wanted to make sure that we did things the right way. So I just want to make sure you read that.
Yes, I don't see any issue with this particular appointment in this instance.
Okay. Okay, and then on 173, not clear to me if people were already working and getting paid those amounts, or if these are new amounts going forward.
They're already working, Mayor. That's the current.
So is this legal, Mr. Mensch, to do it this way?
Well, under your ordinances, anybody who's hired should be hired and approved by the Borough Council in advance of being hired. That's, if you recall, there was a discussion not that long ago where there was a proposal to allow department heads to kind of hire the lower level employees. The council did not want to pursue that at that time. So if the council if they pass this, you can ratify it retroactively, which is what I believe the intent here is. But going forward, nobody should be hired unless they're approved by the borough.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're doing everything lawfully. In fact, we should probably do the public portion first, right? The public may want to comment on this before the vote.
That's up to you, Mayor.
Council, would you want to open to the public now? Give the public,
I'll make a motion to open to the public. I don't have any issues. Want to get it out of the way.
and then we'll come back. All right, all in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, can any member from the public who wishes to be heard, just raise your hand virtually or wave at me or do both as Mrs. O'Shea's doing. And I will recognize you. State your name and address. Mrs. O'Shea, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mary O'Shea, 12 Irving Avenue. I have a couple of comments. First of all, on Resolution 172, I have not seen an advertisement for this position. Has this position been advertised as an open position in the borough?
temporarily, it's temporary.
But the position is open. I'm asking, has the position been advertised?
I have no clue.
Ms. Borges?
This position was advertised. We did have a candidate, and the day the candidate was supposed to start, she basically did not take the position of for personal reasons.
What, she didn't take the position
For personal
Or-
reasons.
for personal
Let
reasons?
me just please just add that Ms. Porches is under no obligation to answer any question. I would prefer if the borough attorney would handle all these questions, please.
I think the clerk that's doing the job should be able to answer the
I don't
question.
think it's the clerk's responsibility, but I'm not here to go back and forth with you.
No,
Ms. O'Shea.
apparently you are.
There's a
Well,
borough attorney, but-
I would like to caution the council and Matt, please answer any question if you feel it's necessary going forward. Thank you.
Okay,
Madam
well,
President.
was this position advertised?
Said yes.
Yes,
Laura said
Okay.
yes.
okay. Now, JP Lee had that position previously. He was very, very capable and very competent. And I'm sure he didn't walk out the door without giving notice like some other people have done. But we've had plenty of time to advertise and hire somebody for
She
the
did
position
advertise.
permanently, all right?
Okay.
Now, we do have an anti-nepotism, and I've been one that has spoken out many times about nepotism, and that was something that was always going on when the Democrats controlled the council and the Republicans stopped it. And I think we're taking a step backwards here, hiring family members to work in the town where the other people are working, family members. This is going backwards. Now, also, you have her on the agenda by name. When did the council get together to decide to put this on the agenda? The agenda committee do it?
Don't have committee.
Ms. O'Shea, as Council President Katrubis mentioned, that this is an opportunity for you to speak and give your comments, but this is not a question and answer session.
Mr. Munch, I do have questions, and I think that the elected officials or you should be able to answer the questions, okay? That's why you're up there. You're up there to answer to the public, all right? And I would like to know when you met, when the council met, did they violate the Open Public Meetings Act and come to a decision to hire a person, put them in a position, let them work, which apparently you did because it says it's retroactive, having them work, and you don't know, how do you know that they're going to be approved? You apparently know and have come to an agreement in advance that you are hiring this person. Okay, now what happens if you vote no? If you vote no and
Go home.
she doesn't get hired and she's already working. Okay, you also have a legal liability if she gets hurt. If she falls, if she trips over a wire, falls down the steps, she is not covered by our insurance. We're having, here, just take that. This is a problem. And if you vote no, then she's out of there and she shouldn't get paid. I mean, this is ridiculous. And likewise, why have you giving her $20 an hour? The salary ordinance says that clerical hourly minimum wage, from minimum wage to $20. Does this person have building department experience? Why is she getting $20 an hour? Is she getting $20 an hour because she's Miss Borges's daughter? Is there some type of familiarity here that she was given $20 an hour when the salary ordinance says $15 an hour? Minimum wage, which is 15, I should say. Okay. Now, the other thing is, like I said, with the nepotism, I spoke up against Christian Demonis when they were going to hire him. Democrats were going to hire him to be a dispatcher when his uncle and his brother were working in the police department. Okay. So this is coming back to the same thing. Also, you should have, how many hours a week is she working? It's part-time. Is it 2 hours a day? Is it 5 days a week? Is it 2 days a week? 8 hours a day? What are the hours? What is the maximum that she's going to allow to make? Where's the do not exceed amount? There should be a do not exceed a certain dollar amount. Okay, this resolution is very defective. And the CFO did not sign off on, say, if the funds are available. All right. And you're saying it's temporary. Temporary for how long? Temporary for 2 weeks, temporary for a month, temporary for 6 months. And then once she's there, you're going to say, oh, wow, we're going to keep her. Okay. It's
I
somebody.
think that we've exceeded the 5 minutes.
I don't think so.
Please
No, I
regulate
didn't.
that.
No, I didn't. No, I
Can we
didn't.
please regulate that?
No, I didn't. And the other thing is, in your resolutions tonight, you have the summer camp employment. Now, I know summer camp started a month ago, okay? And here we are in the same situation where you're approving people to work at $30 an hour, $30 an hour, $20 an hour, and counselors at $7.25. You have no maximum number of hours to work. You have no cap on the number of hours per week. And the counselors are not being hired by name. We don't know who they are. All right. Always in the past, summer counselors were hired by resolution by name, and they were authorized before they started to work. This council is very negligent in their practices. It's like nobody's running the ship up there.
Okay, we've
This is
reached
the
the
same
5 minutes.
thing-
Can we
This
please?
is the same thing that happened with David Gonzalez on the administrative floor. You didn't make a resolution to hire him until after I put in an Oprah. The same thing happened with Marco Sango.
We've
You
reached
hired
our
him
5
and you
minutes.
paid him and you're working and you never
We've
did the
reached our 5
resolution
minutes.
till
Thank
after
you.
I put in an Oprah request questioning it. Okay, you have got to get your stuff in order there. You've got to follow the rules. And the other thing is, Rebecca, last month you voted to approve or disapprove the Geist report. All right. And then you said you never read it. How can you approve or disapprove something when you in a meeting say, I didn't read it? You should have abstained. You don't vote for things that you don't read. Likewise. with the
First of
minutes.
all, don't tell me what I can read.
I'm
or
going to
not
tell you,
read.
you don't vote on things that you don't read,
Don't
Rebecca.
tell me.
And
what
don't say,
to
I'm
do.
just getting learning it.
Don't tell
Okay,
me
that's
what to do
basic.
and
That's
how to
basic.
do my
That's
stuff,
basic.
okay?
That's basic.
You are
That's
not an
basic.
authority over me. Remember
I'm-
that.
I am an
Just
authority over what
with
you're supposed to
respect.
do it right, and you do not do it right. You do
Have
not vote on
respect.
something that you did
I
not
know
read,
the
and then
text of it.
admit that I didn't read it.
Guys,
Likewise, you
I
don't
did
vote on
agree.
minutes.
Don't tell
that
me how to
You were
vote
not
or not
even
to
on the
vote.
council when the minutes were taken. You do not know what was happened that night. You don't know what was said. How can you
Mary,
vote on
I
something?
have the right
You're
to
wrong,
vote
Rebecca.
according to the attorney.
Rebecca, learn to do the job right. Learn to do the
I
job
don't
right.
need
You
you
don't
to
know what
teach
you're
me.
doing up
I
there.
told you, I don't need you to teach me. I know exactly what I'm doing.
No, you
If I
don't.
like
It's
it,
obviously
no
that you
problem.
don't. It's
Excuse me.
obviously that you
Control your
don't.
meeting.
And you're not trying to learn how to do it right either.
Have
Excuse me, Mrs.
respect.
O'Shea,
Have
Mrs.
respect.
O'Shea and Rebecca,
what you need.
stop it. Stop it, both of you.
Earn.
Stop it, both of you. Mrs. O'Shea, your points have been made. They've been registered. They will appear in the minutes.
Thank
Bye,
you.
good luck.
Rivka, you vote the way you vote. It's up to you.
Exactly.
Whether or not
And
you
that's
vote.
what the attorney
If it's
said.
right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's somebody else will sort it out. But for
Exactly.
purposes of our public discussion, that discussion is done. Is there anybody else from the public who wishes to be heard? All right, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Now, Mr. Mensch, you're allowed to use your points. Mr. Di Gregorio, mute yourself because there's too much noise coming wherever you are.
Can't even hear you talking.
Mr. Di Gregorio, wherever you are is very loud. It's disturbing us. Okay, so Mr. Mensch, legal issues have been raised by me and by others. And is it your legal opinion that we should proceed with the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay, this is number 172 through 176. Have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion from council?
Yes, I'd like to inquire about paving of Floyd. There are many residents that are really concerned about the speed that people are driving on Floyd. Why are we paving Floyd? And why are we not discussing ways to slow the cars down on Floyd? When we pave it, it's going to become a raceway.
So
we need
those are
to-
two different issues, Mr. Di
you're
Gregorio. Having a proper road surface.
Can I finish? May I?
That's a quality of life issue for everyone, okay? The speeding is also a quality of life issue. Those are two different issues. You can't make the assumption that people are going to be speeding any more or any less if the thing is paved, okay? We will speak to the police chief, but that's not the purpose of this.
Interrupt
resolution.
as I
The
was
purpose
speaking.
of this resolution is actually to get money to make the town, as you said, looking better. Now, if you don't want to do that, and you want to put cobblestones everywhere, still speak up. Well, that's the last time you talked about road surfacing, you wanted cobblestones everywhere.
My main concern is the speed on that
Okay.
road.
Different
And there's been no discussion, no detailed discussion. We are simply going out for this, and I think that the residents, especially on Floyd and in that area, deserve better.
Well, you know what, and the residents who ride their bikes on that road think it does need to be repaved because it's a dangerous road surface right now. So you have to balance everyone's interests, okay? The police department will take care of the speeders. The pavers will take care of making the road a better surface. And then everyone's got to use some common sense, not speed. And if you're on a bike, be careful, okay? Any other discussion? Okay,
Yeah, one more thing, please, in
Yeah, go
terms of the, because we're discussing this consent agenda, correct?
right.
Does this consent, I was just bumped off, so I'm just making clear where we are in the process, but does this consent agenda have on it the replacement for the tax attorney?
Yes,
Okay.
22-175.
Yeah, because I think that we should table that because that should be, or at the very least, I'd like to, I spoke to Anne Marie briefly, and I know that we're trying to wean some of the work away to a new attorney. But after talking to her, she made the case that there's a lot of retail, not retail, but the residents, there's a residential and there's a commercial. And she made the case that if you just take everything away, it's going to take any new law firm a lot of work to bring them up to speed. And I don't want to put the borough in a compromising position where it's double paying for things that are done. So perhaps we should just, and Matt, I'd like to hear your opinion on that. Perhaps we should just split it up where we give this new law firm just between commercial and keep residential till we get a better grasp of that.
That's a policy decision from the council. You certainly, some towns just automatically split up residential tax appeals and commercial tax appeals. That's one way of doing it. Keep the Wiener Law Group on residential and just have this resolution apply to commercial. Another way of doing it is just to say that, Wiener Law Group keeps whatever it has now, other than the commercial. It keeps all the residential it has right now, but moving forward, any new commercial appeals that come in, a new commercial or residential that come in, go to another firm. It's
Mr.
really whatever
Mensch.
the council and the mayor want to do.
I apologize, but I thought that we were not giving this law firm any new work. I thought that's what we were told a few months ago.
Why,
Here.
what's happening?
So,
They're
so right
horrible.
now, Councilman, just to be clear, right now, the Wiener Law Group is still your tax appeal attorneys. That's never changed. They took over from,
Bernstein.
yeah, Bernstein was doing it, I guess, last year. Wiener Law Group was appointed as your tax appeals. They are still doing your tax appeals. So the
I thought we
residential,
voted on this a few months.
no.
So, okay, then, because I thought we've been trying to end our relationship with this law
So
firm
this
for a
is-
long time.
Correct. This is the last body of work, so to speak, that the Wiener Law Group
So,
has.
Right now, there's a motion pending for everything, 172 through 176. If, Mr. Katrubis, if you want to withdraw 175, then.
Yeah, let's vote on that separately, please.
Okay, or do you, so we're gonna, I need somebody to withdraw it, but before you do that, I have a question. On 173, the counselors are being paid $7.25 an hour, but my understanding is New Jersey minimum wage is $13 an hour. So is that lawful, Matt?
Sorry, Mayor, I was having trouble hearing you. I apologize. Your volume was lower, or my volume is.
Oh, so on 173, the counselors are being paid $7.25 per hour for the camp,
Right.
but minimum wage in New Jersey is now $13 an hour. Is there an exemption?
I work for $13.
Yeah, Mayor, I don't know the answer to that question.
I caught that as, I saw that as well. I thought that it was, it's obvious it's well below minimum wage. I'm just wondering if it's because they're under 18. If a different standard applies, I don't know.
Yes, I don't know either. It's not my field of law, but I just do know it's 13 is the number right now.
I think that's permitted for the camp counselors.
I think that's right, but I wouldn't be able to cite a provision on that.
What was that, Glenn? Can you repeat? I didn't hear.
I said, I believe that's permitted for the camp counselors as being juvenile workers, making
Right.
a certain amount. They don't have to make minimum wage. I think they've been doing that for a while. I'm like,
So
I'm not the
let's do
attorney.
this. To the extent $7.25 is minimum wage or whatever is minimum wage, approve it that way. It's higher. And then Matt, you just figure it out.
Yeah, I will confirm it.
All right, so I need, whoever made the motion, withdraw the existing motion.
Laura, who made the motion on the consent
Ms.
agenda?
Councilmember Kapsakis motion. It was seconded by Councilman Park.
Okay, so I'll withdraw it.
Okay, withdraw it, and then can you remake it or remove it with 175 deleted? So everything 172 through 176 except 175. And in terms of 173 regarding the camp counselors, make it whatever is the lawful minimum wage, if it's $7.25 or higher, subject to attorneys.
That's fine. I'll make the motion in that regard as the mayor suggested.
Okay, so Kevin, second.
Second.
Okay, we already had discussion. Kevin, roll call.
Member Di Gregorio,
Yes,
Member Luciano,
Yes to all except 176. I abstain.
Member Park,
Yes.
Member Begets,
Yes.
Member Kapsakis,
Yes.
Council President Katrubis.
Yes.
May it passes.
Mr. Katrubis, did you want to reintroduce 175 and some?
Yeah,
other-
it just alter it, just any way you see fit, Matt, as long as it's understood that the commercial, you're giving the commercial to the new law firm until they get their boots on the ground and we figure out what's happening.
Who is the new law firm?
Councilman, why don't we just give them all to them? This law firm has been horrendous. This attorney has been horrendous for years now. I don't understand.
I don't dispute that, Glenn.
You don't
She
need
made
to
a last
disparage
minute,
people. You don't need to disparage people, at least not in this instance, okay, Mr. Luciano? If you're not happy with some of these services, just say you're not happy with them. But you don't need to disparage everybody, and turn your camera on so we can see your face when you disparage people. Stop
so
hiding.
Glenn,
I
to your
didn't
point,
disparage anything. This law firm has been horrible. I made motions
You are not,
before.
you're no
It's been
position to
horrible.
judge. You are in no position to judge. You're not an attorney. You're not a tax expert. You're just a guy.
I'm just a guy that knows that every single Oprah case that they've handled, they've
He
lost.
doesn't put his camera on.
Every single one.
That's
Every
all
single
we
Miss
know.
O'Shea's Oprah litigations, she's lost. every single one that she hasn't done her job because she didn't do the right thing for
This is-
Oprah, that we had to
this
pay
is
fees and
focus.
fines for? She's
Focus
been
on-
horrible.
This is
That's
just
the
about
facts that the
taxes.
public should know.
This is just about taxes right now, okay?
And we shouldn't be
Far
giving that law
afield.
firm anything.
Okay, so Mr. Mensch, just rephrase 175 for us.
So I can, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Tim, is it your suggestion that you just pull out the commercial or that you pull out commercial and any new residential?
Let's just separate it commercial and residential, and once they get their boots on the ground,
Fine.
let them make the determination on what can start getting moved over. I just don't want to rip the Band-Aid off and find out we have an
We'll
artery.
never be able to get rid of her if we keep doing that.
So
So
the,
that's the motion, because somebody.
so the motion would be to, resolution terminating services of Wiener Law Group as to commercial tax appeals and retaining the services of DeFrancesco Bateman Law Firm as to commercial tax appeals.
All right.
Correct.
Everything else would stay the same.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that we're not gonna double spend.
You can
Making sure
always
everything-
come back, you can always come back and readdress the issue,
Alright.
in the future.
Correct.
Can somebody so move that?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, can I have a roll call?
Member Di Gregorio,
Yes, and I do agree with Glenn.
member Luciano,
I abstain.
After all that, he's abstaining. Leadership.
member Park,
After all that
Yes.
abstaining chuckles.
member Begets,
Yes,
member Kapsakis,
Yes.
Council President Katurbis.
Yes.
May it passes.
Thank you. We already did public portion, so number 9, introduction of ordinance. This is with a public hearing on August 10th, 2022. This is ordinance 22-11, ordinance amending certain recreational fees. Now, is this also retroactive, Mr. Mensch? Because I think these fees have been already collected.
I don't know.
And
Mayor, these fees are changes to these three. I think one is soccer tots, one is soccer, and another one, I can't recall which one it was. The
have
fees
any-
had to be changed.
have-
The other ones were done at the last meeting.
Have the fees that are being referenced here already been collected?
No, they haven't. They're going to be starting August 1st or into September.
Okay, can I have a motion, please? Thank you.
Make the motion.
Second,
Mr. Gregorio, can you mute yourself? It's too loud wherever you are. Have a roll call?
Member Di Gregorio,
I do believe we need to be flexible in order to accommodate the residents. And sometimes that means doing things a little
I
bit
can't
different.
hear you, Mr. Gregorio. There's a lot of background noise.
what are you talking?
I can hear you, David. Just keep talking.
Thank you. And I will vote yes. And I do believe that flexibility is always
Orchard next.
within reason.
member Luciano,
On introduction, yes.
member Park,
yes.
member Begets,
Yes,
member Kapsakis,
Yes.
Council President Katurbis.
Yes.
That's all for our special meeting then. Have a motion to adjourn. And thank you and have a good night, everyone.
Make the motion.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
yes,
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the next.
you too.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Bye.